You wake to explosions echoing across Tehran on February 28, 2026, in early morning. American and Israeli jets scream overhead as missiles rain down on the Iranian capital. The air smells of smoke and fear as car alarms wail endlessly through darkened streets. Life will never be the same after what happens in the next few terrible hours of war. This is the day Ali Khamenei dies in his compound and Tehran becomes a true battlefield. This is what it feels like when superpowers decide your country must be destroyed today. For weeks, the signs were everywhere. American carriers massing in the warm Persian Gulf. The largest military buildup since 2003, with hundreds of jets and dozens of war vessels. Trump and Netanyahu warned Iran repeatedly to abandon nuclear ambitions or face destruction. Indirect nuclear talks in Oman collapsed days ago with no agreement reached on key issues. Iranian security forces killed thousands in January protests, the largest since revolution. The brutal crackdown left bodies in the streets and families mourning their dead across Iran. The regime was weakened, isolated, and vulnerable. Trump saw his moment and decided to act. At 2:30 a.m. Washington time, Trump released an 8-minute video on Truth Social platform. He declared regime change as the goal, eliminating Iran's nuclear and missile programs fully. He cited the hostage crisis, support for Hamas and Hezbollah, and killings of protesters today. Minutes later, the first missiles struck Leadership House, Khamenei's compound in Old Tehran. Cruise missiles and bunker busters tore through reinforced concrete walls like flimsy paper. Inside, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's ruler for 37 years, died instantly with family. Across Tehran, the night sky erupts in orange flame as dozens of targets burn simultaneously. IRGC headquarters, parliament, state television, military bases, all ablaze and burning now. The Malik Ashtar IRGC building in Tehran is completely destroyed, collapsed into smoking rubble. People run through streets in pajamas screaming, not knowing where safety exists any longer. Children cry in basement shelters while parents hold them tight and pray for morning to come. The sound is deafening: jet engines, explosions, air raid sirens, and screams of the wounded. This is not precision war on TV screens. This is hell raining down on 7 million people. The strikes extend far beyond Tehran to Isfahan, Qom, Karaj, Kermanshah, nationwide tonight. Nuclear sites, missile factories, naval bases, everything Trump promised to destroy burns fast. In Isfahan, workers flee nuclear plants as American bombs collapse the mountain above them all. The Natanz enrichment facility, buried deep underground, is hit with repeated bunker penetrators. In Bandar Abbas, the southern naval base explodes in massive fireballs lighting the Persian Gulf. Iranian warships sink at their moorings as missiles strike with devastating precision tonight. By dawn, air defenses are shattered, the navy sinking, and leadership structure decapitated. Within hours, Iran launches Operation True Promise 4. Massive ballistic missile salvos flying, not just at Israel but every U.S. base across the Middle East and all allied Gulf states too. Over 500 ballistic missiles and 2,000 drones launched in the first week of conflict. Missiles streak toward Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Jordan, Iraq targets. The U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain is hit multiple times by precise direct missile strikes. Dubai International Airport, world's busiest, shuts down indefinitely after sustained attacks. The airport terminals suffer significant damage from debris of intercepted Iranian missiles falling. Hotels in Manama collapse under drone attacks while debris from missiles kills random civilians. The U.S. Embassy in Kuwait is also struck, forcing Secretary of State Rubio to close it immediately. By March 1st, Iran reports over 1,300 civilians dead from American-Israeli bombs. The deadliest incident: a girls' elementary school in Manab struck, killing 180 children. Images of tiny bodies pulled from rubble spread on social media despite total state censorship. The world sees the children's backpacks scattered among concrete and twisted metal wreckage piles. U.S. forces confirm 6 troops dead from Iranian counterstrikes on military bases across regions. Kuwaiti jets mistakenly shoot down 3 American F-15s in friendly fire. All crews survive it. In Iraq, 2 popular mobilization forces members are killed in U.S.-Israeli strikes on their bases. The human cost mounts hourly on all sides as the war spirals completely beyond anyone's control. People emerge from shelters to find their ancient city transformed into a smoking rubble zone. Entire neighborhoods reduced to ruins. Government buildings collapsed. Infrastructure shattered. State broadcaster IRAB headquarters lies partially destroyed. Its transmission towers twisted metal. The Supreme Leader is dead. The man who ruled Iran for nearly 40 years, killed in minutes. His death creates a power vacuum with no clear successor, as parliament must choose under bombs. Mojtaba Khamenei is reported as favorite to replace his father as the next Supreme Leader. Some whisper liberation, others invasion. The nation is traumatized, divided, and deeply afraid. The UN Security Council meets in emergency session, but cannot pass any binding resolution now. China condemns Khamenei's killing as a violation of the UN Charter and all international laws. Russia calls it unprovoked aggression, but stops short of military intervention in this conflict. European leaders urge diplomacy while evacuating all their citizens from the entire war region. Arab states struck by Iranian missiles condemn Tehran, while quietly thanking America and Israel. Saudi Arabia strongly condemns Iranian assaults on UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan sovereignty. The world watches as the Middle East teeters dangerously on the edge of full regional conflict. You venture into streets filled with smoke, broken glass, and the metallic smell of spilled blood. Ambulances race past carrying wounded to hospitals already overwhelmed beyond any physical capacity. People search through rubble for loved ones, calling out names that may never answer back again. The Grand Bazaar, ancient heart of the city, stands partially collapsed from precise missile hits. Centuries-old vaulted ceilings have fallen, crushing shops and merchants beneath tons of brick. Food grows scarce as supply chains collapse, and people hoard whatever they can possibly find now. Gas stations run dry as fuel deliveries stop, and panic buying empties every available pump quickly. At night, the bombing continues. Distant thunder that never stops, robbing everyone of all sleep. Families huddle in damaged apartments rationing water, wondering if any rescue will ever arrive. The power grid flickers unpredictably as electrical substations burn across the capital tonight. Water treatment plants are damaged, forcing residents to boil water from uncertain sources everywhere. Children ask questions parents cannot answer. When will it stop? Why is this happening to us? The elderly struggle in stairwells of towers, where elevators no longer function at all anymore. Pharmacies run out of medicine while hospitals operate by candlelight and backup generator power. Blood banks issue desperate appeals for donations as supplies run critically low across all hospitals. Every person in Tehran knows someone who died, was wounded, or is missing beneath rubble piles. Yet even now, Tehran refuses to surrender or collapse into chaos, despite overwhelming firepower. Doctors work 20-hour shifts in damaged hospitals performing surgeries by generator light. Nurses treat patients in hallways and parking lots, as every bed fills with wounded civilians. Neighbors form groups to clear rubble and distribute scarce food to families trapped in buildings. Young people organize on encrypted apps to help elderly find shelter and desperately needed care. Volunteer rescue teams dig through rubble with bare hands, searching for survivors under debris. Artists paint defiant murals on blast walls, messages that Iranian spirit will never be broken here. In cafes still standing, poets read verses about survival, resistance, and hope amid total ruins. Trump declares Iran destroyed. No navy, air force, nuclear program, or capacity to threaten. He tells reporters that just about everything has been knocked out across the entire country. He calls on Iranians to overthrow what remains of their government and embrace freedom finally. But Iranians remember Iraq, Libya, Syria. They know what comes after regime change by bombs. They remember how Baghdad fell and descended into years of sectarian violence and civil war. January protests weakening the regime seem distant now, replaced by rage at foreign invasion. Will Iranians rise up or rally? Will the regime collapse or survive through brutal violence? Nobody knows what tomorrow brings in a city where yesterday's certainties burned at dawn today. As darkness falls on night 2, the bombing continues with no indication it will ever stop soon. Flares light the sky as defenses try desperately to intercept incoming missiles raining down. You hear neighbors crying through walls, processing grief and trauma beyond all comprehension. The city that was home, that was safe, that was predictable, died on February 28th, forever gone. What remains is a place of rubble and fear where survival itself becomes an act of pure defiance. You lie awake listening to explosions, wondering if your building will be next to collapse down. Tomorrow you'll search for food, water, news of friends who haven't called since yesterday dawn. You'll stand in line for hours hoping for bread rations distributed by overwhelmed authorities. You'll pick through rubble of your shattered city and try to imagine any future worth living for. Because that's what people do when worlds end. They survive, endure, refuse to simply die quietly. Tehran did not fall, though its leader did, and bombs continued for many long days after attack. The war is not over, future uncertain, but the city breathes still beneath the smoke and ashes.